So you obviously write a lot of the lyrics for Infected Rain. Do you feel like that gives the songs a lot more meaning to you?
Actually, I write all the lyrics for Infected Rain, not just some of them. Somehow it just came natural for me. I was writing before I joined the band, just like throwing some ideas on the paper or writing some little poems here and there. So it was easy for me to write uh, to start with. It was more difficult to actually create a melody in the beginning and actually put the lyrics together with the music. For some reason, that was the more difficult part for me. But the difficultness of it was mainly because I really wanted to preserve the meaning and the emotion behind the lyrics while singing. So I think that was the most difficult for me, the difficult task. I had to like learn how to do proper. Um, and it was pretty frustrating because I'm very um, picky with my own stuff, with my own things I do or create. So I was not happy for a long time. I would like work on the same piece over and over again. But getting back to your direct question, I would say that that is a very important detail for me. It is, um, it's actually more difficult for me to do covers because of that, because I feel like it has to be a very important and special song for me to actually feel it and be able to deliver it properly. That's why probably that's why I don't do many cover songs actually. Like the majority of bands or vocalists especially, they do a lot, even if it's just for a video for fans or just for fun, and they just do that. I don't do that a lot, although I do have a lot of songs from different bands or just separate musicians that I can relate to and I can feel that. So maybe sooner or later I will start doing that somehow. But yeah, it definitely helps a lot when you're your own writer and you know exactly what you were trying to say. It helps a lot for sure.
Great. And then, so how do you manage to maintain your voice? Because that's obviously such a powerful, it's so powerful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, vocal cords are just like a muscle, and just like a muscle, you can train it. Now, obviously, you need to work hard. I would say, actually, I will correct myself here a little because some people have to work harder than the others. And that's it. That is just a biological factor. It's not something that depends on you. Some people, even when you go to the gym, some people, it's enough for them to go, I don't know, once or twice a week and they feel so great and they build muscle and it's fine. Some people go every day and they cannot. It's physiological. It's a thing that you cannot control. Now it's the same with vocals. I know vocalists that never even do any type of warm-ups. They never went to do any classes or anything. I'm not like that. For some reason, everything is a little bit more difficult with me. So I constantly, try to be better with what I do, try to learn more. I try different tricks and exercises in order to discover if I can do or I can't do certain sounds or certain type of vocalizing. Now, yeah, it's just constant workout for me, basically, especially when I am on tour or especially when I have to record. That's every day, every single day. It's like a routine for me. And in fact, I shared information about that on my own YouTube channel, and you know fans and just band listeners can always find really interesting information about that through the my YouTube episodes about the band or the tours. I really have to do warm up exercises every day for like 15 to 30 minutes a day. And when I'm not on tour, I do it more rare, but still I try to be pretty constant, because otherwise, just like a muscle, when you don't work out for a while and then you do some exercises and you're sore, it's pretty much the same idea with vocal cords. And sometimes, obviously, I get a little bit more lazy when I'm not on tour, and I get busy with other stuff, and then I do my vocal exercises. I'm like, oh no, I don't sound like I should, and then I go every day again. But yes, hard work is important for talented people, or people that think they don't have a talent, or they think they were not born with like special musical skills or anything. I never thought I have any musical skills from when I was a small child. I never considered myself a gifted person in music or anything. That's why I always took it in a hard way. I always took it with a hard work, you know, because everything is possible. I mean, if you really want to, you can learn to draw, even if you're not good at drawing. It's pretty much just exercise.
Cool. And then about endorphin. So what was the process that went into that? Like, what was a big influence for endorphin?
Hmm. I wouldn't say we had a specific influence for this album in comparison with the other previous albums. We just, we were ready to record, and we are constantly writing ideas down and stuff. So I wouldn't say this was different. um we just get inspired by a little bit by everything. We listen to so much music, and we by the time passes, so we grow as people, as musicians, and our point of view on certain things might change. So that's possibly why one album is different from the other. But yeah, I can't really answer your question in this way. All I can tell you is Endorphin is definitely one of the most emotional albums that we had so far, and the one of the most I think the atmosphere that Endorphin has is so powerful. um, and it's actually a pretty like melancholic album, if you want to call it that way. It's not depressing or anything, but it's pretty melancholic because of the subjects of the songs, and because of the type of music that my boys put together. It became very, very powerful and very atmospheric because of that. mm, yeah, that's all I can tell you. Basically.
And something that's always really interested me about your band is your album art. I always found it's really quite creative. So I was wondering if like you guys come up with that, and also is there anything in particularly that how does it come about or anything like that?
You mean for this album?
Yeah, yeah, for this album and all of them actually.
Well, like I know certain bands, they choose a topic or a theme for their whole album, and they just stick with it, and they just, complete the whole thing like a piece of art, and then they move on with the next album doing something else. This is not really how we work, and this is not really how it was before Endorphin even. So yeah, I feel like because I write about such different topics, it's a little bit more difficult to do so. And I I don't want to change that, because um, how to say, I love when bands do that with their own art, if that's what they want to do, and I accept that with bands I love and appreciate. But with Infected Rain, neither me or my musicians, we don't see that way. We see each song as a separate message, each song as a separate piece of art, and the album is just, it's just the I don't know, the cup that keeps it all together, and gives it all together to the people to, like, you know um to comprehend or to listen to. So yeah, there's, I don't know, we can talk about specific songs if you want to, because they are, a little bit more um unique in their own way. But I don't think the album has, you know, a specific theme or a specific atmosphere that I can talk about because it's so general, you know.
Is there any song on the album that you feel like was the most emotional for you?
Yes, definitely. Many of them. This album specifically is probably the most emotional, especially for me. But I think the song Tapophobia is the most emotional song that I did in my whole career. It's a very it's a very powerful message I try to deliver, and the way I work with vocals melody and the melody of the instruments that my boys put together, I feel like that marries together so well. And it's like the perfect example of the this it's definitely the perfect example of the pure emotion you can feel from a song. And I'm very proud of that song, but at the same time I'm super terrified to play it live because it's so emotional. I'm terrified. I love that song so much. Every time I listen to it, it gives me goosebumps. It was absolutely the most difficult to record for me vocal wise because of the emotion behind it. So, but I still love it. It's my favorite probably from the album.
Oh, that's good. And something I love about you guys is that you seem to have such a close relationship with your fans. And do you feel like that's something really important to you guys?
Absolutely, yes, it is. I can talk about myself because, you know, every member of the band is so unique and different. So I think that everybody should have a saying in this. But for me, as I mentioned before, I never thought, you know, I'm any special or gifted, especially when it comes to music. So I know that where I am right now is mainly because of the fans and the band listeners, you know. And it doesn't matter how talented you are or how well you improve your skills. You're nobody without your fans. And this is it works the same for any type of artists, not only musicians. We do really need the people that appreciate our art and support our art. And I think we got so lucky. Infected Rain fans are so nice, so kind, so loving, so supportive. They just continue to encourage us to move on and do better and do more. And trust me, we had a lot of bumps on our way here. A lot of them when we were like, okay, well, we are very close to giving up. You know, we had a very serious car accident with the band in 2014 that was very crucial because we were in the middle of recording our second album. We had, you know, big issues between us when we thought we will either split the band or somebody's gonna have to leave. I mean, and other like bigger situations that I really don't want to go into sad memories, but we managed to find a way. We managed to be stronger, and that's mainly because of our fans and supporters. So I will be eternally grateful for them no matter what. And I do my best to always be there for the fans, and especially physically. After every show, I try to come out and talk to the majority of them and give them a hug, take a picture, sign, all for free, because I can't thank them enough. I feel like I can't give enough for what I receive. That's why it's so important for me to stay in touch. That's why I created a YouTube channel, a Patreon account, and everything on my social media is um, managed by me, and I answer personally to everybody as much as I can. You know, obviously, if you're a balanced person that's writing to me, sometimes I have to ignore some people, but the majority of the times I don't ignore. Yeah.
Oh, good. And then obviously these are quite difficult times to be in, and I was wondering how's that like affected you personally, or has it affected the band as a whole?
Oh, it did affect it very much, honestly. We didn't make an actual announcement about it yet because we depend on other people. But unfortunately, we had to cancel our United States tour, which was supposed to start in the end of April. And I know it's pretty obvious, and I know it's pretty normal considering the current situation in the world, and the majority of bands had to come back from their tours or cancel their upcoming tours or shows. But still, it's very sad because we worked so hard, and this was our very first United States tour, and it's like harder to deal with. It's like a failure, basically. And you know, other than that, as every other musician, we are unfortunately dealing with, lower budgets, and for everything, even for recording some ideas or just putting together something new or working on new projects. And yeah, we have to stay home, and all we depend on at the moment is our support from the fans, and in fact, I encourage everybody to, um, obviously, if you can, if you still have a job, if you still have a good income, to support the artists you love. Support them, because this is a very big time of need for every artist in the world. Any kind of independent artist, or any kind of artist in general. It could be music, art, like, I don't know, everything stopped now, and we definitely need extra love, and we are definitely here to give extra love and extra attention. So yeah, it affects us very much, I will be honest.
Hmm. So finally, is there just anything else you want to add at all about anything?
Well, all I can say, due to, to the situation in the world, I will just say, please be safe. um, Please stay human, and don't forget about love, don't forget about support, don't forget about your loved ones, don't forget to say, one extra time, to say I love you, to say I think about you, to reach out to people that, you know that need your help, or just that are far from you, so just stay strong and stay safe. That's all I can say at the moment, because that's all I can think about.